Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. We are zooming in on a single, absolutely crucial concept from our source text, the architecture of adversity and recovery. We aren't just going to do a broad, surface-level overview today. Instead, we're literally going to deconstruct the exact structural blueprint of how we actually overcome challenges. It's kind of like looking at the blueprints for a building, but for the human mind. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. What exactly is resilience? I mean, it's a word that gets thrown around constantly, doesn't it? You hear it in corporate boardrooms, in post-game sports interviews, literally all over our daily lives. But structurally speaking, what is it? We're not looking for some fluffy motivational quote today. We want the exact architectural definition straight out of the source material so we can see how this thing mechanically operates under the hood.
Let's actually read this exact quote from the source together because the phrasing here is super important. It says, "Resilience is an important ingredient in the process of adversity and recovery, allowing individuals to sustain energy and quickly bounce back from setbacks." Now notice the specific language they use there. It explicitly calls resilience an ingredient within a process. So it's essentially a formula. And, just like any good recipe, whether you're baking a cake from scratch or, say, trying to rebuild your team after a really tough quarter at work, you absolutely have to understand how those ingredients combine to get your final result.
And this brilliantly illustrates the environment where resilience actually lives. Think about the timeline laid out in the text. You start off with step 1, which is adversity. That's the hardship, right? The hurdle, the actual inciting event. Then, all the way over on the far side, you've got step 3, recovery. That's the return to form, the healing process, the moving forward. But the really critical part is the bridge connecting them. Step 2, the resilience ingredient. It's the catalyst sitting exactly in the middle. Without that middle ingredient, well, step 1 never successfully transforms into step 3. Resilience is literally the bridge that gets you across.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how the text deconstructs what that resilience ingredient actually does in practice. It gives us these two specific, honestly almost paradoxical abilities. On one hand, we see sustain energy. Just think about that for a second. That is an endurance trait. It's the slow burn, the grit, your ability to keep those internal reserves up when the adversities is just dragging on and on. But then contrast that with the other side, quickly bounce back. Now this is a reactive trait. It's dynamic, it's immediate, and it's highly elastic. So true resilience actually requires both of these tools. You need the deep stamina to endure the long haul, absolutely, but you also need that rapid elasticity to just snap back into place. It's this genuinely fascinating dual action mechanism.
So the crucial point here is isolating the ultimate target of this entire architectural process. And that target? Setbacks. That is the exact point of friction where our sustained energy and our ability to bounce back are actually put to the test. The source makes it crystal clear that setbacks are the triggers for this whole sequence. So now that we really understand this blueprint, that resilience isn't just some magical innate trait you're either born with or you aren't, but an active two-part ingredient driving the timeline from adversity all the way to recovery, we suddenly have a completely new lens for our own challenges. And I want to leave you with a thought to really take with you today. If resilience is simply the active ingredient required for recovery, how are you going to view your next setback?